to welcome Wouter Christiaens from MicroTechniX for his last call of the talk of the imaging session. Wouter's going to talk about the ICARUS system.
Everybody's hearing me good today? Yesterday was finding the micro. First of all, before I would start, I would again like to thank everybody, and especially when you listen to all the talks and what we are really doing, this is improving people's life. So we get different domains together, from science to technologies, and everybody is really trying to improve on a daily basis his work and trying to achieve something. Now, I have been working with a lot of you over the years, and as a technical person, I'm always fascinated on how can we increase the efficiency of the work we have. And for that, after many years of working for Zeiss, we started the company MicroTechniX to try to create systematics in approach of work. And we try to do that by engineering your ideas. So it is not us that will dictate what you need. We have to listen to what you are fighting with, which are your difficulties, and we try to find solutions and put them in place so that we can facilitate your work and that you can continue in your own workflow. That is really important. Now, by doing this, we always look for the best solutions and we present them in a project. So it is not we that select the device you need, it is you, but then together with us, where we try to facilitate the technical aspects of what is an instrument in relation to your work. We also want to push boundaries, so we don't go for easy answers. We first want to know what is behind it, and did we really touch everything that is necessary for you. And then, most important is that you also know that you are working with a partner that is going to go and follow you to the end, and not just somewhere down the line say, oh, we are not able to reach this, and fade out, what sometimes happens in projects. So engineering your ideas, because we listen to you. We started in 2013 as a one-man's company, but with the goal to quickly increase everything so that we can create these projects, reproduce them, and for that we created a core team with specialists, specialists that go from engineering, which is Yves, our engineer. We have Bram for our validation and project coordination, and we have Michael for programming. Of course, there's me and Wim for other activities, but they represent the knowledge that, of course, was gathered over many years, and we tried to put that into a systematic approach. And this gives the possibility to create projects with a high quality, follow them through, and whenever you say, I would like to have a second or a third instrument, and this is the aspect with the cloning strategy from GSK, is that we are able to contain and manage the same quality and output. So, as a small company, we face other challenges, and whenever you would say, we're interested to work with MicroTechniX, there will be other people that will ask questions, who is MicroTechniX and why would we work with them? So we try to also show immediately through the complete organization that we have an organogram, but instead of putting people in there, we put functions, and these functions are filled in by the core team and our partners. We like to say we are a company of right now 6 people, but actually more than 100, because all our partners together, they represent an extended capacity. What is key? That all of these people work with the same quality output, and that's what we try to ensure with the this is not managed. With this project lifecycle, because your project starts with a user requirement, but it ends when somebody says, now we have to decommission it. And during that span, there is the need of a technical basis from your side, but also from your partners that work for you. And that's what we try to manage in this system here. So coming back to our partners, we try to look for a couple of companies that can give us capacity. So we're not looking at the instruments here right now. We are looking at what can these companies supply us when tomorrow we have a question of, can you produce us 1 system, 5 systems? Can you do computerized system validation? And if so, from where to where can you help us in this? So with them, we work out these projects, and we are following it as a project-driven company to the end. So no question leaves unturned, so everything has to be addressed. Of course, I would like to give you a couple of references. We work in different levels. We go from pharmaceutical companies to, for instance, Coppert is a company in improving soils for farmers. And we have Shell, it's an oil company, but all there we work with the same methodology. So we can always bring the same quality and reproduce what you want here, or in no matter what country where you would like to deploy your tests. Now, to do this, we created a service. So right now, this is all a little bit, probably some things that are so already seen. I want to come to a point where we address a specific project, and that was ICARUS. But to create this, we needed to have services. We need to have instruments, elements in place to be able also to manage this. So we created a customer portal where people can send in their requests, and we try to manage all these requests as good as possible. So also here you will, if you look at it from a validation point of view, get a traceability. So we can manage every request, we can manage change requests, we do root cause analysis, so everything from a technical platform. And we also challenge ourselves with KPIs on it, so that we also do what we say and that you see the results. But we also put KPIs to you as a customer, because only when the customer is on board, we can manage our projects. Yeah? So I'm going to go through this a little bit faster, because this is just to show you what we represent. So we have an engineering activity for preventive corrective research and development, but also for machine safety. Not unimportant, because a lot of you are putting equipments in the lab and sometimes combining equipments, and therefore you need to have at least a checksum, a risk analysis over what you are doing, and that has nothing to do with computerized system validation. We have some validation activities. In this case, computerized system validation. We don't want to go and validate complete processes, but we would like to validate what you are going to do with the equipment, and in some cases even complete software, as it is a tool that you will use in your environment. And again, there you need people that can look at it from a technical approach, but also try to, continuously think of what is it that the customer wants. So we also have programming, we can manage those things, and one of these activities you will also see coming up in the next slides. Product development, not unimportant. This is for our image analysis part, because this is where we started, and together with a couple of our customers, we are trying to evolve this a little bit, because I understood from previous meetings that image analysis for a lot of people is still something that is far away. This is, where do we get an imaging specialist? How can we treat images? So also there we try to create solutions that are easily reproduced, and if you would like to install it in a CRO or in another company, no matter where in the world, that they can work in the same way you intended it to and developed it on the local platform. Now, here is my sign to switch. So there are 2 pages I would like to show you now, and those 2 pages are coming out of a presentation that was created by the ELRIG in Toulouse, I think. It was for the robot liquid handling. So that was a project you have identified, and here it was the question, how can we manage users, equipments, methods. How can we follow all these things, especially if you have multiple equipments in the lab and different labs. So this was your challenge, your question, and we have worked on it, and we would like to present you our ICARUS platform and ask you to see, does this meet your requirements, and if so, how can we continue with this? Because for us the goal is to put it in place and see, can it really do what it is intended to do? So important was equipment management, application management, and user management. Oh, that was one too fast. Also a little bit your timeline. So the timeline was that you would have a release end of 2015. There have been some difficulties in the project with the other partners you were working with. But I would say, together with the help of one of your colleagues, GlaxoSmithKline, we were able to realize something in a very brief period, because we worked very intense on this project, also with the team, all these methods, to put something in place, and we were able to realize this project in around 3 months. So to give you an idea also what would be a time frame if we would like to develop something more complex. So we can say that you can meet your target, that by the end of 2015 you have your ELRIGfr platform available, and then it is of course the next challenge is where do we install it, and is it really helping you in your daily work? So ICARUS, there is a couple of slides I want to show, and then I'm hoping that this is working because we tested it, so we will have to open a door there. So Mark, if you can open the door in the back. The reason is we set up a wireless network, and the door is keeping the, the network from entering. Bram, can you already test if you have connection?
I did.
Okay. So this is ICARUS. So let's see. So what we need to realize, ICARUS, is we need to have something what we call the backend. Everything that needs computing power, you don't want to have that on your laptop. You don't want to have it on your tablet. You don't want to have it on a phone. You want to have somewhere a computer, a server that is calculating everything. So Mark has mentioned that he's taking X% of tiles. So this is going to improve because everything results in computing power. Everything results in big data, but you keep that away from the users. They don't need this. What they need is, they need to be able to say, I have a device and it is connected. And I need an interface that can help me in my daily work, in planning activities, or knowing is an instrument available. All these basic challenges you have. If, of course, you have 2 labs and they're next to each other, you walk from one lab to the next. But if your labs are far away from each other, or you have to undress and dress, and it takes you 15 or 20 minutes just to have one question filled in, this is cumbersome. So we need to have an easy interface. So we created for that a web-based interface that automatically gives you access to no matter what device you're using to get that information if you are in that network. So one more slide and then I would like to switch, because one element that was not in your pages and that will always be a concern for everybody that needs to work in a validated environment is that we can manage the access of the system, we can identify all the users, but it is also taking care from the beginning. So we started the development of this platform from the beginning. We want to be compliant with certain regulatory requirements, so that later on when this question is asked, it is yes, it is working for that, and yes, it is validated, so you can come and check this. So it is not we develop something and now we have to do the rest. It has been all in one project. So strange for this laptop, but this was the only spot where we could get a connection without losing it. And okay, so this is your login screen. It works in Internet Explorer version 11, and you see an image on the background. I will immediately say, why this image? You're sitting in a lab, and sometimes you don't even see the sun. So whenever you go and work, you would at least like to touch a friendly environment. So these pictures, we've chosen a couple of them. So if you guys have better pictures, don't hesitate to send them to us. We'll put them in, and every update that comes, we will show them. So Bram, please fill in the supervisor. You will notice that every time what you need to do stays on top, so you're guided by filling in the data. Bram is now logging in as a supervisor. And supervisor. That's reality of life, eh? Yeah. So, the network. Okay, it's back again. So maybe you can try again, Bram. Yeah, so the basic thing is what we wanted to demonstrate, but you can also see it on our stand. We have a computer standing there. Okay, so, not too fast. Back, click on it, Bram. We would like to show you, we also integrated all the environments you are going to encounter when you need to go and validate if you have different levels. Before you put something in production, you have to follow certain steps. And we are going to help you to realize these steps in an easy way. To give a very short and practical example, so you have developed a test, and you have an operator, and you want to qualify him for the test. How are you going to document this? You start in the training environment, you have him go through a couple of runs, what he needs to do, and you have your proof. And you say at that point, okay, this is what I want, then you release him, and then in the production level, where we are going now, he has access to this test, and he can execute it. So Bram, production, please. Okay, so coming back to your presentation, remember there was users, systems, methods. That's where everything starts. So there is the configuration part. I'm not going to go through all the things, but I'm just going to show you that we have the part where we can manage the users. Bram? This takes a while because it needs to get its information. So if it would be connected to a wire, it would go a little bit faster. But here you can add all your users. You can define the roles. You can even say where they are located, physically located. And you can add more information to it if you want to, even a telephone number, so that maybe later on in a test, if somebody needs to be addressed because there is a question, that you have that information with you. Then we can go back to the management page. So you see here is also something that's for the new generation. It's the breadcrumbs, they call it. I was looking at that, what does it mean? But it's a way of switching easily from one level to the next. So we have different interactions we can create. Then we have systems. So also here, we have a Tecan system currently integrated. It's our demo system. It has a location, so you can give it a physical location, so you know where it is. And it also has a release status. So imagine this instrument breaks down, and you have 10 of those instruments, but you're not aware of it because you're managing your projects. You're not every moment into the lab. You can go to this page and see, okay, are my systems functioning or not? This is one way of looking at it. Later on, we come to something else where you can also see it more visually. But we here define, is your system working? Is it released for a production or not? All those criteria. So Bram, back to management. So we have now users, we have systems, and then not unimportant, we need methods. So what does the system need to do? What did you cook on the instrument? which you would like to reproduce on a daily basis, and not having somebody clicking on the wrong button and all the work you've done is gone. So what we need to do, and this is still our technical work for a bit, we need to create this method somewhere and make it available for you so that the test that you have designed can be reused easily. So we also protect this, that it cannot be changed like that. You need to create new versions. This is this 21 CFR Part 11 compliancy again. And make sure that what you created cannot just be erased, overwritten, or changed. So Bram, please go to the home page again. When everything is configured, when everything is running, we were thinking, okay, how do you bring information together? Because we will deal with a lot of companies, with a lot of criteria, and we said, okay, normally everything starts from a project. And a project, that is a terminology that everybody uses sometimes or somewhere in the company. And when you click on projects, Bram, we can immediately see we have projects, new projects, and runs planning, but we will go immediately to projects, and there we get a list of projects we are running. Why projects? So you have a liquid handling robot. Is that the only device you have in your lab? So how many devices do you have in a lab? And do you use them all for that one project? For the user, it is going to be a useful tool because he can get a planning, and later on we will see that. But for a managing point of view, I'm in a discussion with the board. Let's go all the way up. And a question is asked. If we get 2 or 3 new tests, can we manage that? So Bram, when you click on the project, what do we get? We get an overview of all the information that we can collect in that project. So we have our runs, so what is really need to be done in the lab. We have our systems, all the instruments that are connected to this project, and we can give immediate statuses. So, my project, you're one of the many project managers. My project, I identified those instruments, and I'm not reaching my capacity, because here you see a graph. We put some other data in this graph to blow it a little bit up and to be able to explain it. There is the gray bar, and that represents your total capacity of the instruments you identified in these runs in a specific moment in time. The blue bar represents what you really did. So somewhere the gray bar is showing you, there is still some capacity. Why did we not fill it in? Oh, holidays, or if you go and look at systems, 5 systems out of use. So this will give you a direct view on your project, on what is the workflow doing, where are my projects. I understand that there are a lot of ways of looking at information, and we are at the first step. So I think this is already a practical and usable solution for managing the, let's say, instruments in your lab. So, but this is still a lot of information. Now, how is the operator going to be able to use this system? Because we want to have all levels aboard. So Bram, for this, please go back to the home page. And here you see we have a runs planning. It's a planning board. So Bram, and this planning board will show you for this specific instrument we have planned X amount of tests. So it's not just this instant. If you know for the 3 months to come how many tests you have to, or how many runs you have to do, you can already start planning all the different instruments over that time frame and give, you can see it also in different timelines. So this is now on a day basis. You can see it on a month basis. And of course, you can always jump or use a calendar to go to other points in time. But important is when you go back to the timeline, the standard, you see now 4 runs, and they have 4 different colors. So every color also represents the status of your run. Is something in production? Is something out of order? Has it been cancelled? Is it finished? You will see it from one side visually, but when you click on one, you will also see all the information that is attached to the run. So right now, this run is happening on that instrument, and we have identified that we need to do 9 samples, and it already processed 5 samples. So I don't have to go to the lab to know, is my instrument finished or not? I have this information at my desk. So here you also see edit run, cancel run. Of course, starting the run and things like that. We are not going to do this on this level. You always have to go to the instrument, because starting an instrument without being next to it, it's like coming with the Titanic to the port of Antwerp. So if you've never been there, you have issues. So this needs to be managed. So all of these elements are now brought together into a web-based application. And to put the challenge a little bit also back to you, because this is now the next step, of course, is we don't want to force the installations, because the next question is going to be, oh, how much is going to cost? We would like to realize a base installation, a server installation, where everybody in the organization can view the information. So that's one license, a basic license to manage the server and all these things, but everybody can look at it. Pragmatically, we will limit it to 100 users or 50 users, because your network will be the limiting factor. If you would suddenly have a huge success factor and you have a couple of hundred people looking at on a daily basis, so it will have somewhere an impact. The part where the challenge still lies is bringing the instruments into this platform. So I would say this is your vision of RLH, I hope so. And I would like to invite Caroline to the stage for a moment to give her a little bit of feedback, because Caroline is one of the people that manages or helps the technical platform at the company GSK. So please, no, don't sit. And who am I to say what it does? So Caroline.
Thank you, Wouter. So I would like to share with you our feeling when we have the first presentation from Wouter about ICARUS application. We have different benefits to use ICARUS application, because the first is the quality benefits, because currently we have one system with the configuration is on the local PC, and we have already have some remark from the QA department in GSK, because it is a risk to have someone have the possibility to change the configuration in the local PC. So with ICARUS, all data are on the network, and at each starting of the run, all data are repatriated from the network in the local PC, and even if someone changed a configuration file on the local PC, it is okay, because all data validated are repatriated from the network at each run. So this is the first benefit for us. We have also another benefits quality. It is combined with the user management, because at GSK we try to have the simple with multi-platform, with multi-application on one platform. And for the moment, when our users start the application of a system, it is possible for him to start every process on validate on the PC. So with the ICARUS application, it will be possible for us to short the user, and one user will be able to start only one process. So this is the second benefit for us. We have also a big benefit because with the environment management, because we are a pharmaceutical industry, we need to have different environments, the development, training, testing, and production. And when the systems are in production, it is not possible to change something on the PC. And for the moment, we need to know a proof of concept or a change. It is necessary to reinstall a new PC, and it is very much time for us because we need to reinstall another PC, and the time for that it is 1 or 2 days. And now with the ICARUS application, it is just it is easy because we go on the PC, we choose the environment, and the data from the network come on the local PC with the environment choose. I think also at another benefits. It is for the planning management, because it is for the manager in the business, it is clear and evident, because it is easy to manage the planning and share the system with other service, because we use the multi-application platform. And for the business it is clear, but it is important for us also, because with this part of the application, it is possible for us to see if a system is used or not. And yes, if it is not used, it is a good reason to return to the user to know why the system is not used. And yes, I have also another benefits, because we would like combine the ICARUS application with a touch screen, and I hope, because this funny part, it's maybe some user don't like the automation. Maybe this user will be attracted to use the system, and yes. So in conclusion, we have happy and we have very impatient to use this application.
Thank you, Will.
Thank you very much. So I think that the ELRIGfr member received the message from MicroTechniX. So please, if you're interested in having contacts with MicroTechniX, do not hesitate to visit the booth just in the lunch area over there. Maybe we can take one question to Wouter and colleagues.
Yes, I have a question about the method. You said that ICARUS is able to create some method, but do you think this is feasible to retrieve the method already available in the different system? For example, in the TCAN, there is already method available in the TCAN. Do you think this is something we can have the same, or retrieve the same method in ICARUS, directly retrieve the same method available in the TCAN platform, for example?
Well, the goal is that TCAN engineers or specialists can do their work. What we need to be able to do is connect that work with this system. I would like to challenge you with something different. Assume that you developed a test and you put a lot of effort in there. It's validated, and your system breaks down, or you identify a new system, could maybe from another manufacturer. I am not challenging manufacturers in this, but science dictates what you need. Do you have to redo everything? Or can you start this test on a different type? Imagine you have 2 sites, and the 2 sites have 2 different instruments. So are you going to do twice the work, or can we do it in one go? So this method part is going to be one of the things we are going to focus also on for the coming months. So how can we bring this to you so that it becomes also user-friendly to realize this? Because that is what we'd like to realize is remove the technicality, make it accessible. Have people work with the instruments as they would like to do this in a normal environment. But still keep all manufacturers aboard, because they have spent a lot of money to develop those instruments, to develop the interfaces, and to create knowledge that you just selected because they did something great and that you did not have yet. So methods is going to be one of the focus points in the next steps of this platform. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Wouter.